What have you done today to earn your place in this crowded world? Utopia is Amazon's new 8-episode conspiracy thriller about saving the world while trying to find your place in it. Utopia follows a group of comic fans who meet online and bond over their obsession of a seemingly fictional comic called Utopia. Together, the group discover hidden meanings within the pages of Utopia that predict threats to humanity. They realize these are not just the makings of a conspiracy, but that they are very real dangers coming to their world, and everyone wants their hands on the coveted comic book. The group then embarks on a deadly journey, bringing them face to face with the comic's famed central character, Jessica Hyde, who ends up joining them on their mission to save the world while harboring secrets of her own. I went into this series completely blind. I did not know what to expect whatsoever. And I will say this, I think I got a whole lot more from this show than I originally imagined. This show is very different from the shows that I'm used to watching. It was very violent, it was gruesome, and the best part was that it had a lot of shocking moments, and I think that is why I now consider myself a fan of Utopia. Before we continue, please note that I will not be revealing any major spoilers throughout this video, so I'm gonna do my best to sort of summarize. But let's go ahead and start off with the weird timing of the release of Utopia. One of the central focal points of the show is that there is a virus growing rapid and tons of children are dying from it, which was predicted in the comic book Utopia. And doesn't that sound familiar given that we are currently in a worldwide real-life pandemic? The showrunner and creator Gillian Flynn said that the show was filmed last year and edited in quarantine, and even though it resonates with our real-world situation, that it is not a story about a pandemic. But while watching the show, it's very hard to ignore the resemblance between what's happening in Utopia and what's happening in our real lives. Obviously, it's not completely identical, but there are some aspects where you kind of start to rethink everything you know. Now, I'm not the sort of person that falls for conspiracy theories, but with this series, I did find myself second guessing everything and sort of becoming a little bit paranoid as to whether or not there are crazy people out there in this world. But hey, it's a TV show. It's all in good fun and good nature. But let's just go ahead and jump right into the violence, the gore, and the action of Utopia. Right from the start, on the first episode, we see a lot of violent and unique ways in which people can be killed or tortured. There was a specific scene in episode 2 that was so hard to watch, and I think that after you watch the show, you're gonna know that is the scene that Denise was talking about, because it was so hard to seriously look at. I had to cover my eyes. I honestly felt like throwing up a little bit from this scene, and it kind of really just took me aback. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was not expecting for this to happen whatsoever. And I kind of feel that that's sort of the momentum that the show kept on going. Like, every episode, there was things where I was like, okay, I did not see that coming. And then in turn, it just added such a great element of surprise where you just never knew what was going to happen on Utopia. Most of the shows that I watch, the lead characters, the main characters, or whatever, usually when they're put in a bad situation, you tend to see them get saved. Like, yeah, they build up the suspense, but at the end of the day, they end up getting saved and they continue on and all of that stuff, right? But with this show, there were a lot of moments and a lot of twists and turns that sort of erased all of that. It erased the security blanket of, oh, this person is safe and this person is not safe. So I think that was actually one of my favorite things, because it kept you on your toes wondering, okay, if this happened, will this happen now? So I really liked that. It made me feel like anything can happen on this show. John Cusack also noted in our press junket interview that one of the cool things about Utopia is that whatever you think is going to happen, it ends up getting turned on its head. And it makes the show very unpredictable. But now let's go ahead and jump into some of the best and most interesting characters on the show and what you can expect. If I could give the very creepy or made me feel the most weirdly uncomfortable award to anyone on this show, it would definitely go to Christopher Denham, who plays Arby on the show. This was my introduction to his work, and he blew me away because he plays this very psychopathic role, and he does it so well. He legit gives you the creeps. There were so many characters in this series, but I truly think that Arby was the most fascinating. Jessica Hyde. I went back and forth with her. She's not a full-fledged good guy, but she also isn't a bad guy. If that makes any sense at all. This girl is complicated. This was also the first time I've seen Sasha Lane work, and I have to say she won me over because I couldn't figure her out. And I like those types of characters, the ones where you're not really sure on what their intentions are. I think Jessica Hyde felt rare, and also she just looks super cool in this series. And one of the things that Sasha mentioned in our press junket interview is that she really liked how Jessica Hyde was very, very complex. Grant, who is also played by Javon Wana Walton, is one of the coolest kid actors I've seen in a while. He's the type that you would see on Stranger Things or Super 8, something like that. The cool thing about his role is that he's very good at acting like those very mature kids. It doesn't feel fake when he does it. It feels authentic. His only major project aside from Utopia was HBO's Euphoria, where he played a drug dealer. Wilson, played by Desmond Borges, was one of my favorites out of the core group. He's known more as the encyclopedia of Utopia. He was really great during those freakout moments on the show. The next person that I have to talk about, the entire time while I was watching the show, I was like, where do I know him from? I know his face from somewhere, but where? And then I finally went on IMDb and realized that it is Carter from A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff. Carter. And I just my mind was blown away because that role, because that's the only thing that I had seen him in, was so different from what he did on Utopia. So it was sort of cool to see him in that more serious role. Then there was Ashley Lathrop, who plays Becky. And I had seen her in The Handmaid's Tale as of Matthew. And she was so unrecognizable. I didn't even believe that it was her. Honestly, she was a great addition to Utopia. But now let's talk about John Cusack as Dr. Kevin Christie. This is Cusack's first regular TV role. Crazy, right? And oh my God, he was so brilliant in this. He played a very good, twisted, and manipulative character. He is such a great villain. I think you will all love him in this. And in terms of story arcs, Dr. Kevin Christie is very fascinating, and his relationship with his son and Arby and so many others was one of the highlights of the show. In our press junket interview with John Cusack, he even noted that he read the entire season script all in one sitting, morning till nighttime. He was amazed by it and said that it was very imaginative and dark, and that's what really captured his attention to Utopia. And other characters that I loved were Jessica Roth as Samantha. She was in one of the most surprising scenes in my opinion. Farrah McKenzie was an awesome addition to the show. Her role, I think, has the most potential going forward. Corey Michael Smith as Thomas Christie did a great job at making me hate him. Rainn Wilson as Michael Stearns is the biggest babyface on the show. And Hadley Robinson as Charlotte was unexpectedly great. They did a phenomenal job with the casting. Overall, this is the kind of show that if you miss a couple of minutes, you will miss a lot. They add a lot of shocking moments throughout each episode, which in turn makes it an exciting and fast-paced watch. And this show did a great job at making me feel extremely paranoid because I kept thinking, what if during this show? Like, we are going through a pandemic and I'm watching a movie about a pandemic or that has a pandemic in the storyline, so you can't help but to sort of start thinking all of these crazy thoughts, and I think Utopia did a really great job at that. Honestly, it was a very entertaining show. I can't say nothing bad about it. And here's the thing too, is that Amazon gave us episodes 1 through 7 to watch. There are 8 episodes in this series, so I saw episodes 1 through 7, and I have not yet been able to see episode 8 because they are keeping us waiting until the series actually comes out on Amazon. So I'm hanging on a thread here, trying to figure out what exactly goes down on the season finale, because John Cusack said in our press junket interview that it was the craziest thing that he had ever done and that he's never done anything like that before, and that he's done some weird before, but nothing compared to Utopia. So I'm very excited to see the actual season finale. If you're looking for something new and different, I would definitely suggest checking out Utopia. Give it a chance. You might definitely like it. It's so unlike me to watch a show like this, but you know what? I'm open to like everything. But seriously though, one of the things that I do have to say is that Amazon has been doing such a great job of putting out really unique original programming. Some of the shows that I just love are Hannah, I love Upload, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and those are all on Amazon. And one of the shows that I have yet to watch, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about, is The Boys. So there is a lot of really great content being put out by Amazon right now, which I just think is super awesome. But guys, let me know, will you be watching Utopia? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you're watching this review after you've already seen the season, go ahead and let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below as well. Plus, as always, please do not forget to give this video a like. It really helps out my channel. And if you want to see more pop culture related videos, more reviews, make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Other than that, I'm Denise Salcedo, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.